says, they were yours, and you gave them to me, and they have guarded your word. Again, the relationship has to do with, I guarded your word, I did what you sent me to do, and I brought you honor on the earth. They were given to me out of the world, and they have guarded your word. So who's he talking about here? Is he talking about you? Only if. Only if. If you have guarded his word. He was specifically talking in the Peshat, in the simple basic, to these disciples. He's talking about the disciples. He says, you gave me these men, and they have guarded your word. Can we extrapolate out that it could also be about us? Absolutely. But we'd have to be those that are guarding his word. Revelation is of not much use if you don't receive it. Something is revealed to you, you then have to receive it and act upon it. So he's saying, I gave them and they received. All right? Huge difference between just I gave. You gave it to me, I gave it to them. But did they receive it? I counsel a lot of people. And not everybody receives the counsel. They heard it. It was given to them. But they don't always receive it. You know, you read your scriptures, but are you receiving what he's telling you? I've given them your word, and the world hated them because they are not of the world. So all of Torah, when you go back and read in the beginning, he says, do not do as they do. He says, be set apart, be kadosh. Be set apart, do not be like the world. And he's telling them that when he gave them the word, it did what? It set them apart, and the world then noticed that they were different and set apart, and the world hated them. But it's through what? Torah observance that does that. Makes you appear to the world different. It also is pleasing to the Father because you're doing submission to his word. You're performing the covenant, which is, I will do what you say. I do not pray that you take them out. When you pray, okay, pay attention. When you pray, you may not want to always pray for him to take you out of your situation, but ask you how you're supposed to function and survive and actually thrive in your situation. Okay? Because that's what he's talking about. He said, look, I'm not asking you to take them out. Boy, that would be so much easier, wouldn't it be? But it wouldn't be easier to accomplish their goal, which is to test you and prove you and to get you to grow into and transform into what you have to come into, which is the fullness of Messiah. Not going to happen in the easy road of taking you out of the world. See, almost to whatever degree, Christianity almost seems to say, well, the Father was this Old Testament sort of ogre, mean-spirited and whatever, and now we have the Son's truth. And the Son is in the New Testament constantly saying, nothing is mine. No thoughts are coming from me. None of this is my idea. I didn't come up with this stuff. These are not my rules. He said everything comes from the Father. Okay? So he's saying here, set them apart in your truth. Okay? Because your word, your instruction, your word is truth. Their big picture is to have people forever that are echad with them. Okay, in the same type and the same nature of relationship as the Father and the Son have with each other. That we can have that. We barely like each other. It's going to be tough. Okay? Some of you don't even like each other. It's because we're still too rough around the edges and we're not him enough. We're too still us. Okay? But the whole picture of all of this is not just being in the kingdom and living forever. It's a relationship forever that he wants. The whole point is that we would be in a relationship of oneness with him forever. In verse 21 and in 23 says that all of this is not only for everything I just told you, but also as a witness so that the world would know that the Father sent the Son. See, Christians will think that their job is to go out there and witness and tell everybody, well, the Father sent the Son. John 3:16, right? So for God so loved. That's all they want to do is say informationally, hey, the Father sent. No. Our relationship tells the world that the Father sent the Son. Okay? It's through our relationship that the world will get the message, because they'll see the relationship. The love relationship starts from above and works down and then comes back and is reciprocated, okay? None comes, but the Father has to draw. Then we have to go and draw near to him, right? But he has to draw us first. And the way he draws us is not by him drawing near. He touches us, makes us aware that we draw near to him. We respond. So he's saying, the Father, you loved me before the foundation of the world, and I, in my love for you, do everything that you say. And then we brought these beings into existence, and out of our love for them, we do this for them, and then we ask them to reciprocate and respond. And this is all a love language. It's all the actual language from above of love, the language of love. And you shall turn back to Shuvah and obey the voice of Yahweh and do all his commands which I command you today. So this prophecy, which Christianity, I'm sure, uses to a certain degree, misses the whole point that you're going to turn back and do this stuff. No, that was for Israel and they blew it and now it's about the church. That's what they're going to tell you. That only Israel, had they done this. Well, wait, then Yahweh's lying and not keeping his word. He said, I am going to scatter you, I am going to gather you, and I'm going to circumcise your heart, and you are going to obey my voice and do all the things I commanded, like I'm telling you today, which is during the Ten Commandments time, right? This is during the giving of the Torah time. This is Israel coming out of the desert, about to cross the Jordan to walk and live this out, called Torah covenant. We know that all work to the good, but there's an if. They work to the good for those who, so if this is the if you're not doing this, then you can't say they all work to the good. Some things work to the bad. Not that Yahweh's not in charge and he allows things to go bad. But we know that all things work to the good. All matters work to the good for those who love Elohim. Well, what does that mean? Of course, everybody will say, I love him. And they have all this emotional stuff. But how do you express that? Do you do what he says? Do you obey? Because he says, if you love me, guard my commands. Yahweh, go back to all the first 20-something parts of this where I made it very clear. His love language is obedience. Period. There's no ifs, ands, buts, arguments, or anything you can say to change that. His love language is obedience.